So we can see here that Josh, the comment here, Josh paid his barber in sats yesterday. And again, even though this seems like a small thing kind of in the grand scheme of things, I think it's much bigger than that. I think that we as Bitcoiners need to do a much better job of talking about Bitcoin. And that's what I titled the show today, is start talking about Bitcoin. And I want to propose a challenge to everybody who's watching the show today to start thinking about this. Because what's really going to drive this thing forward, we know that Bitcoin is inevitable at this point. A year ago, I might not have said that with as much certainty, but I think we can say today that Bitcoin is inevitable. It's going to be the next world reserve currency. It's going to be the currency that countries back their currencies with. It's going to be the capital that people use, that banks want. It's going to be the pristine capital of the world. It's inevitable. Is again, going back to the green lights, going back to Jeff Booth, decentralized and secure. As long as Bitcoin stays that, it is going to succeed, regardless of what else happens in the world. So if we can get past that and we can understand that the variables here are not whether or not Bitcoin's going to win, the variables are how fast it's going to happen and who's going to own the Bitcoin. Those are the two main variables that are yet to be determined. And it's us, Bitcoiners, who are here today, who are going to be the main drivers of those two variables. And so what I'm going to encourage you to do, and what I'm going to challenge you to do today, is start thinking about something that you could do to grow Bitcoin. And the first thought is probably going to be to start a YouTube channel. And that's fine. That's probably the best way to do it from my own experience anyways. YouTube channel. But if you're not as comfortable, if you don't want to show your face on the internet, I totally get that and respect that. So you could start a podcast. You open up a nostr account, you start promoting your podcast on there. You never have to show your face, but you can talk about Bitcoin. And that's going to do two things, I think. Number one, it's maybe three things. One, it's going to be healing for you, I think. It's changed my life completely. Because before I had a channel here, I would just think about this stuff in my head all day, and I had really no outlet for it. So number one, it's going to be really good therapy for you to be able to talk through some of these things. And when you talk through some of these things, you form a different opinion and your mind changes and your mind opens up to more of what could be. The second one is that it's going to be beneficial to others. There's a whole lot of people out there who are looking for Bitcoin content. And there's people out there who might not learn from me, but they would learn from you. They might not resonate with me, but they would resonate with you, depending on what your age is, depending on what sex you are, male or female. That's it. Depending on what race you are. People learn differently from different people. So the second one is that it's going to benefit others. It's going to help others learn about Bitcoin. But the third one is that you're actually going to learn much more about Bitcoin yourself. When you have to get in front of a camera or in front of a microphone or in front of a pen and paper, you learn more because you're going to be actively looking for things that you can talk about and things that you can explore within Bitcoin. So those three things, I think, should be enough reason to start something like this. But the fourth one here, and I just kind of thought of this on the fly, but this might be the most important one. And that there's really no risk to it other than your time. But if you think about it as if you're going to learn more and this is what you want to be doing, it's going to be a good investment of your time. That's pretty much worst case, is you're going to waste some time. But if you think about it, even if you took all this time and energy, went through it, you're going to learn. But even if it fails, you're not setting up like a whole production studio. You're not paying rent. You're not losing any actual monetary part of this. And the other part of it too is that worst case, if nothing ever comes from it, you're going to have like a nice keepsake, I think, that you can hand down to your grandkids, your kids, your grandkids, their grandkids. Because when we're thinking about Bitcoin, we're thinking about this generationally. And I would give any amount of Bitcoin to be able to see my grandpa do something like this every day. I would give all my Bitcoin probably to be able to watch him talk, to see how he thought through things, to hear his opinions on things, to see what he was talking about at that time. Like, it's just such a cool thing that you can preserve in time, is doing things like this. And that's worst case. Best case, you have that, plus you do what you love every day, you earn a living off that, even if it isn't like, millions of dollars. But that's worst case, is that you're going to have something to for your grandkids and their grandkids to remember you by. We didn't have that before. So I think that everybody should be thinking about that in terms of starting like a Bitcoin channel of some sort. It could be a YouTube channel. It could be a podcast. It could be a blog. It could just be an account on some social media platform. Whatever that is, just find a way to get some of the things that you have, the value that you have, out into the world. And the mistake that I made when I first started this channel here is that I thought that it was going to be like my friends and family and people within my network that were going to be watching these videos. But it turned out that nobody gives a shit about it within my local area here, for the most part. Actually, I shouldn't say that. There's probably a handful of people within this area who watch the show, but that's not who my audience is. And so don't cater your content towards like the people in your life, cater it towards Bitcoiners. And you now have an entire economy, an entire world who's looking to learn more about Bitcoin today, but that's only going to ramp up as the years go by. And each day you procrastinate this, the further behind you get. You start a channel today, even though it's going to be slow, it's going to be painful off the start. When the other 99% of the world shows up here, you're going to be set up. So again, start today. Do not procrastinate. Talk about things that you love. Talk about things that you enjoy talking about, and just be real, because there's a lot of people out there today, and there's going to be way more in the next couple of years, people who are absolutely in need of this information. And there is a massive spread between people who have that knowledge, and you are one of those people who has that knowledge. I know you might not think about that, but you are, if you're watching this video today, you are somebody who has that knowledge to spread. And let's say that there's 0.1% of the world who understands Bitcoin, who's had that green light come on in their life. Let's say there's 1.1%. That means that there's 99.9% of people who don't have that yet. And that's a huge spread. So don't ever think that there's like too much Bitcoin content out there. There's too many YouTube podcasts. There's not nearly enough. And don't underestimate what that value is going to be worth in a few years. It might not seem like it is today, but don't underestimate how much that's going to be worth in a couple of years from now, and especially in like a decade from now. And the best thing that you can do is just start. Figure out what it is, which channel you want to go down, whether that's video, audio, blog, whatever it is. But just zone in on that, focus on that. And you're going to be in a much better position if you do, in my opinion. And if you're saying like, oh, Jor, I got a job, 9-to-5 job. When I get home, I'm too tired to do anything. Well, then too bad. Like this is not a time for excuses. And again, the nice thing about the setup that we have right now is that it takes much less time to actually see a return from doing this than it did 2 years ago. Right? Because 2 years ago, you would have had to go through all this trouble of getting a YouTube account, getting 1,000 subscribers, getting 4,000 listening hours, whatever the hell it is, before you can start earning one fucking dime on YouTube. You don't need that anymore. You make one post that people enjoy, they can send you Bitcoin without anybody's permission, without any thresholds that need to be met. One post, with using things like nostr, using things like QR codes on the screen, you totally bypass. And I don't know how long that's going to last. Somebody left a comment saying, how long until YouTube doesn't allow that anymore? But for now, it's here. And it might change. They won't be able to take it down from nostr, but YouTube maybe. But there's never been a better path forward for somebody who's wanting to talk about Bitcoin. The demand is there. The technology is there. And you have the ability to make one post, one video, one podcast and earn money. That never happened before. There was too many people in the way. There's too many gatekeepers. There was too much bullshit involved. But that's gone. You can start today, you can make a post today, and you can actually see a return today. Don't expect it, but it could happen. That's the thing here. It could happen. So that's what I would say. Something to start thinking about. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. It's awesome. Like that's the thing for me is like, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, if I could be doing something every day that I loved doing and that I was very passionate about and that I could help others with, I would say, yes, please put me there. And that's where I am today. And, you know, I don't make millions of dollars or anything close to that, but this is the stuff that I love doing and I get to do it every day. And nobody hired me to do it. I just decided that one day that's what I was going to do. I had no plans on it. I just started making some videos on here because I wanted to warn people of security risks within Bitcoin, scammers, phishing attacks, stuff like that. I started doing like 5 or 10 minute live shows every day, which quickly turned into an hour and then 2 hours and then a community and then whatever. So, I mean, you should have kind of an idea of where you want to go, obviously, but like just start. And the more people we have doing that, I mean, you can even leverage the community here, especially if you're like a member of Living in the Future. I think you're insane not to be doing something like that because you're automatically going to have like 100 or 150 people who are going to be behind you that day. And that's something that you don't get in the other communities. I didn't have that. I didn't have any sort of boost when I started. I just kind of, you know, trudged through the mud. And I'm still kind of doing that today. But I'm more than happy to help anybody out there. You know, whether you want to start a channel and have me on there as a guest, I don't know how many people would care to watch that, but I'm more than happy to help that because I think that this is a really big part of pushing Bitcoin forward. And keep in mind here that instead of spending all of your time and energy trying to convince people to buy Bitcoin, like to me, the play is not going to stand on a street corner and yell about Bitcoin with a megaphone or showing up at family events and waiting for the right time to push Bitcoin on people. That's a total waste of time and energy. But what you should be focused on is learning, sharing what you've learned to anybody who will listen. And I think the thumbnail I used today was focus on the people who want to learn. And there are a lot of people out there who want to learn. And there's going to be a lot more people who want to learn in the coming years. So again, instead of focusing on just like your little network and trying to convince people to buy Bitcoin, switch your focus. Focus on the world, focus on the people who want to learn, and start creating things that give them value. And do it consistently. And I guarantee if you do that consistently and you're genuine with your approach, you're going to be in a much better place in a few years. But the key is just to start. The hardest part, but it's the most critical part of it is just to start. And you'll probably change the path along the way, but just start. Just fucking start.